Let's wait till 2 more minutes, and then we can start our today's topic. So it's five. Let me share my screen and let me know once it's visible to all.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So for today's topic, it's only about how we are uh, going to proceed with our next topics and how these things will look like. We are basically discussing about how the manual stuff is going on and how we are converting that manual approach to the automation approach. With I will be showing you one of the demo. We are not developing from scratch any framework kind of a thing. I will just try to reuse the framework which I already have been set it up, whether using the TestNG and using the Cucumber. I will be just showing you by executing the manual process that we are doing, and then those manual will be converted to the automation. So this is a brief demo about it. So before moving on to the topics and the discussion, let me just introduce myself. So my name is Ajay Dahiya, and I'm working with nearly 8+ year of experience in software testing, whether it's manual and automation. I have worked with different organizations, whether it's Wipro, whether it's Aristocrat, whether it's Extendence. I have worked with 1 or 3 months with the Infosys as well. I have worked with one of the client which is not Microsoft with my current organizations. I have working as a QA lead right now. I have worked with different domains such as fintech, insurance, healthcare, and so on. And I have expertise in manual testings, automation testing with Selenium, with API testing with Rest Assured, BDD frameworks, TestNG frameworks. I have also involved with the Playwright technologies as well. And as a teaching hobby, I was instructing with Geeks for Geeks. Nearly it's been for 7 or nearly 6 months. I've been involved with the Geeks for Weeks on the weekend batches. So being a tech stack, I was involved with Java language majorly. I have worked with JavaScript as well, but majorly for our topic, whether we are going to discuss with the TestNG, Cucumber, everything was discussed with the Java only, because most of the opening is related to the Java, so that's why we are stick with the DOS topic on the Java itself only. So being this is my just information about being an instructor here. So, for let's move on to the topic for the agendas today's lecture. So today's lecture is divided into sub different points such as introduction to manual testing, why we need an automation testing, why we develop a framework from scratch. Then we will be discussing most commonly used framework in industry. Then I will be deep dive in TestNG and Cucumber. I will be just showing you the design, how it's look like, and how we can execute the same from scratch development, that is not beyond this lectures. So I will just showing you the information about it. Then I will be showing you the real time examples with each topics, and providing you a demo how we are proceeding with the manual to automation with the same topic itself only. So this is the agenda for today's lecture. I hope you are able to get this point. So shall we start with our today's topic? Is everything any question till now, or any sort of clarification that you required, anything? Okay, I will take it as no. Then we can start with today's topic. So today's topic first is introduction to manual testing. So the first topic is what does the manual testing came from? So manual testing is basically it's a process of manually executing test cases without or with using automation tools. And what are those automation tools? Those automation tools, for UI automation we generally have Selenium. For API automation we have Rest Assured. And there are n number of automation tools that we can use for automating this execution. So if we are not using any tools and we are manually, or you can say the person by hand executing those test cases, those testing is known as manual testing. So major point is this, and then using this manual process, we identify any concerns. So this is known as manual testing. So every whether it's automation testing, whether it's a manual testing, it has a goal, and that goal is to check if the functionality is working fine or not, if the user experience is looks fine or not. So these are the major goals before any sort of testing that we are moving. So the goal for either manual for automation, same goal was present here. We just need to check the functionality of application is working fine or not. If that is working fine, that means we are good with the results. So this is the foundation, you can say foundation level, that that help us to uncover bugs in development phase, or you can say testing phase. So this is known as manual testing itself only. Any doubt in this, guys? Yeah, this lecture is for all of you. If you are working with manual testing, whether you are working with automation, if you have non-tech background as well, so both can relate as well. So I will be teaching from scratch only itself only. So this is the first topic that you should have understand why, or you can say what is manual testing. Once we understand what is manual testing, so basically manual executing the test cases without any automation tool is known as manual testing. So, what are those key activities that generally any person will do in manual testing? So, first activity is test case design. So this is the first, you can say, first level of manual testing steps that you should involve. There is one more which is known as requirement analysis, where we are just analyzing the documentations, and what using those documentation we will understand what we are supposed to test by reviewing those documents, generally known as BRD document, means business requirement documents, functional specification, user stories, everything can be reading out those. After reading all those different documents, user should able to understand what sort of things that he needs supposed to test. So this is the first activity, which is requirement analysis. But we are skipping as a major key activity, because major key activity start from the manual testing is the test case design, where we are creating step by step instruction to verify specific feature, or you can say functionality works as intended. So this is known as test case design. For example, you are supposed to test a reset password link on any email. So you provide a step by step. Step one, go to the login page. Then you will click on the forgot password. Then you will enter the email. Then you will click on the submit button. Then you will check if the reset email has been introduced to received or not. So this is known as test case that we use to design in the test cases design step. Once we design those Excel file or any sort of tools that we are going to use, majorly people used to write the test cases in the Excel, but some already have some tools which is Jira. In the Jira there is known as Zephyr scale. Using that Zephyr scale we are going to write the test cases against those once. So these are the, you can say, high level sort of thing that you should have an idea if you don't have much idea about it. But I will be discussing how to write the test cases when we cover later on the topics. This is just an information what sort of things that you should have an idea in manual testing. Once the test case was designed, or you can say the features, the steps by step instruction you have set it up, then you will move to the test execution. So test execution is the execution of designed test cases manually by following each steps. And once we do with the flow of execution, then we perform the execution. For example, let's say this is instagram.com. In this instagram.com there is a reset password email, right? Once you click on this forgot password, you provide the email id, then you will click on the send login link, then it will go to the email and check. So this is known as performing the reset password test on the actual website and confirming if the email is being received or not. So performing reset password test on the actual website and confirming if the email is received or not. So this is known as test execution, where the user manually perform their operation on their laptop on their actual website that it's supposed to be tested. So this is the second key activity. Being a manual tester or automation tester, that should have an idea about it. Once you are executing those, let's say there will be a case that such that if you click on this email and that email is not received, this is known as bug, or you can say defect. So this step is known as defect logging. If actual result and expected result didn't meet up, then we log a bug. And that can that bug tracking tool have a different life cycle that we are not going to discuss more about it. We just need to check how this step is known as bug logging. And what that does, that life cycle that bug will go through will be have a different topic itself only. So there will be a lot of bug tracking tool that we in the market, such as Jira, Bugzilla, and there is Maestro as well. So these are the basic tool. And there is one more, Microsoft. In Microsoft there is a known as Microsoft TFS. That is tool that we are used for a logging of a bug. So these are the third major key activity. Being a manual tester or automation tester, that you should have an idea if the actual result and the expected result didn't meet. Like it, if I provide a username such that this is the username I have provided, if I click on this and login link, then that email, that link will not be received to the email. Let's say this is the bug that you should have an get encountered during an execution. So you will log a bug. This is step is known as defect logging. Let's say that step has been now resolved, developer have make the fixes. So you will perform two things. First is retesting, then regression testing. So what does the retesting means? Retesting simply means once the defect has been fixed, once defect, or you can say bug, has been fixed, then user retest the same test case to check if that issue is fixed or not. This whole process, this re-execution of the same test case is known as retesting. And what does the regression testing means? So regression testing simply means to check if the existing functionality is working fine or not. So these are the basic key activity that being an automation tester or a manual tester, everyone that's supposed to have in their real-time perspective itself only. I hope you are able to get it so far now. So let's move on to the next point. So next point is let's understand with some basic example to uh, provide a test case design, and then we will be uh, executing the same and then checking the defect logs itself only. So that we are going to do that. So let's understand with the one of the example. Let's say this is the website we have where we are going to check with the money control thing. So this website will help us to provide a simple interest calculation. If I provide any principal value, that principal number is the actual output that you should have been received. So let's say you have 20,000 as a principal amount and the rate of interest is 10 and the period you have chosen as 2. Okay, so you after you click on this calculate button, this is the amount that you have received. Instead of day, let's make it as more calculation as years. So you can see this is the maturity value that you should get in this. So maturity value, actual output. And let's say in the test cases that what is supposed to do. Let's create one test case example. In the test case, let's say what we have chosen. We have added principal, rate of interest, we have chosen a period, we have chosen a frequency. Instead of frequency, let's moving on to the maturity value. This is what we have chosen. Let's say I have first test case, I have chosen as principal as 2,000 or 20,000. Rate of interest is 10%, and the period is this. And there is, let's say, and combining all those things, and we have chosen years. So the maturity value is 24,000. If this is the actual or this is the expected result, expected maturity value, and this is the actual, if both are matching, say this is 24,000, this is actual maturity value. So it will provide a test result as pass. If both are matching, it will result a pass. If both are not matching, let's say I have chosen a 75,000 as a principal amount, 12 as a rate of interest, and in let's choose as 3 value as a period date, and we have choose days. So instead of this, let's intentionally I have added a expected value of incorrect value. Let's say 5045. This is the expected value I was thinking it should get provided to us. Okay, so let's say this is the actual value. So 75,000, we have chosen rate of interest is 12, period is 3, instead of years we have chosen a days, and we have calculated. So this is the actual value. So you can see expected result and the actual result didn't meet up. So that means the test result will mark as fail. So this is how we are supposed to execute, and we are supposed to check if both are not matching. That means it's a bug and we are going to raise a concern against it. So this is the execution that we are doing. So we have just understand the basic identity or basic knowledge about it. And there is one more case that you can use as an example for a manual testing, is testing a login page. In the login page, you have one case for valid username plus valid password. If both are correct, then that means we are able to log in. If valid username, if user enter an invalid password, then error should be hitting. So these are the things that you supposed to test in the login page. Or any you can do any more test cases as well. So any doubt guys in execution, and what is the manual execution looks like? You can drop a note into the chat section if you want. Nowadays the tendency on the GFG not reflect is in a proper manner, isn't it? Apart from this question, any doubt? Try to be interactive guys. I then Iron, Arti, Amit, any other one. So try to be vocal if you want. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. So as you understand, what is the manual testing and how does the manual execution look like? So let's go with the basic topics that we have. I already created some notes. So the topic we have discussed is what is manual testing. The definition we have understand. Now we will move with the manual versus automated testing. So why we are intentionally moving to the manual testing to the automation testing? So major thing when why we are moving to the manual to and the automation is uh, first is, you can say, the monetary basis. If you have seen on any job profiles, you will see there are more opportunities in automation testing instead of the manual testing. Is it because if a manual tester cannot do the automation testing, but automation testing, the person who is doing the automation testing can be used to perform the manual testing as well. So it was better for company to pay a lesser more amount to the automation tester, because he can do any both things, whether it's a manual, whether it's a automation testing. So let's say with the real time example, let's say you wanted to purchase something. Let's say you wanted to purchase one rocker for your child. So that rocker will have only one functionality, which can move from here and there, one place to another with the child itself carrying on those. But let's say there will be more features has been added into that part. For example, you can lay your child with the 90-degree, and it can fold as well. So you will provide more features, right? So you will purchase those more features even if there is a more costing involved into that part, whether it's a 1000 or 2000, any sort of amount. So similar thinking was developed in the automation testing itself only. So if you are being an automation tester, you already have an idea about the manual testing. Then you are just any person can provide you a work, whether it's a manual, whether it's automation testing. They will perform both of the activities. So this is why the things that people used to have a more job posting in the automated testing itself only. Try to this is a homework for you. If you want, try to compare on the Naukri portal or any sort of portals. You will see how many number of opportunities for the manual testing and how many for the automation testing. Then you will get to know about the things. Second, the why we have differentiation between manual and automated testing is the number of workload. Let's say with an example for more understanding. So let me open a one whiteboard. You can see, let's say there are 100 test cases that we are supposed to execute on the daily basis. But let's say you already have automated nearly 60 test cases out of it. So that means 40 test cases still will be executing on the manual one. So on the daily basis, if I run the automated test, for example 60, and also only we needs to execute the manual. So for overall, your execution of manual has been reduced. Instead of 100 to 40, your execution of a manual has been reduced. Apart from this, you already have a lesser prone error, human error. If you are doing the same activity on the daily basis, you are supposed to, or you intentionally or unintentionally, there will be a miss into that, so human error can be occurred. So instead of this human error, we have automated suits. So that automated suit, if there is a bug, then it will provide you the details. If there is no such bug, then you will provide. So that 60 will have a report. So let's say out of 60, there are 30 test cases has been passed, and 30 test cases has been failed. So that means instead of executing 100 on the daily basis, now you have to execute 40 manual this one, and 30 those failed cases. That means you only need to execute 70 out of 100 test cases. So that's why the reduction of the manual effort as well has been introduced. So to reduce these things, manual to automation testing comes in the handy in the real time perspective. So these are the things that you should have an idea. Then we already have discussed what is the test case design, how we in executing, how we can defect the logging. So I have doing with the same UI perspective that we have done. So we have taken two different examples. One with this one, where we have provided a correct input and the correct details, and the actual result and the expected result is matching. Other second test case where we have intentionally changed the expected maturity value, and the actual value that is occurring on the website is different. If both are different, that means there's a failure has been occurred into that part. So this we already have understand about it as a defect logging. So there is a failure, that means the bug will be locked against the sim. That means we are good to go. And once those bug fixes was done, then we perform the retesting. Then again the regression will be executed. Same test case will execute it on the uh, another cases. Then we have a better understanding about it. So this is the uh, flow that we are supposed to be having in the manual testing itself only. So what are the benefit of the manual testing? So exploratory testing, or you can better UI. UI bugs generally like glitches. Most of the things will be catched using the manual testing. So that's why people company have a manual tester as an automation tester as well, because you can have a UI UX issues as well. Exploratory testing can be done. 100% automation coverage is not possible. So manual testing is required into that part, that we have discussed with one of the example of how the manual testing behave in the actual manner. So we have understand one of the example of a login page, and we have understand one of the calculator as well. You can do one more example, which is a e-commerce. In this where if I hope everyone have ordered something from Amazon.com. You have added a product, apply some coupons, enter some details, and then we are placing an order. So these are the things that you will be executing on the daily basis. So same thing as being an Amazon engineer, if you want. So this is the crucial test case that you should supposed to have in every regression suite, right? So what are the limitations now? So the limitation is always the time consuming. If first is the time consuming for regression, second, if same thing was happening again and again, that means human error can be involved, so prone to the human errors, and sometimes not scalable as well. So these are the topic that you should have an idea about the manual basics. So if you have understand what is the manual testing basics about it, I hope we can proceed with the next topic. Let me know into the chat section if any doubt itself only. Just drop a note, yes, or no sir, no doubt, any sort of things you want. Okay. So let's move on to the second agenda for today's. The second agenda is why we need for automation tester. We have understand the basics of the manual testing, what are the key expected, and the difference between manual and the automated testing. As you understand the difference between manual and the automated testing, then you have already understand why the automation is necessary. So why go for the automation? First is the reduction of the manual efforts, right? So reusability of a code, reliability, because there is a less human errors, because machine cannot do errors, human can do error prone things. So if the execution was done by the code in these 60 test cases, that execution will be more reliable instead of executing all those by the manual. So reliability factor is one of the things. Then reusability of a code means if you are reusable. For example, if I wanted to read some data from Excel, we can create some functions. If I wanted to create some utilities that can also be used. So one code can be used multiple times itself only. So this is the second point, that you should have an idea why we go for an automation. Third is basically faster execution. If you are executing steps by human things, that will take a less or more time, you can say. But if you are filling the documentation or filling a form, try to do using an automation and try to do using a manual, you will see the difference as well. That's a homework if you want, but I hope you haven't proceed with any of sort of a thing in Selenium. We will covering those later on as a handy project as well, when we understand all those different topics itself only during our course itself. So the main things being an if you want as a homework, so you just try to check, try to fill a form from your manual way, and then use the same one of the code, or understand one of the same code using a Selenium. Then you will see in the automation Selenium, right, or the flow is more faster than the manual execution. So this is the second, or you can say why the reliability factor for the automation perspective. Fourth is a major one, which supports CICD. What does the CICD here representation means? So let me tell you about what is the CICD in the diagrammatical format itself only. So before that, any doubt in this? Let me know in the chat section. Okay. So what does the CICD here represent means? So CI means continuous integration. Means if any code has been pushed to any repo, each push code will trigger automated test. Let's say you have created some deny start API campaign. Hmm. So the what does the automated testing? So let's say you have already automated nearly 100 test cases, or out of 100 test cases, let's say you have already automated 60 test cases. So after every changes was done by the developer in the some repository where you have added your code, then automatically these code or these automated suite will execute, then they will show us the reports. So this is known as continuous integration. Means developer pushes code frequently, or your repo. Each push triggers automated builds this, and plus the test runs. This is known as continuous integration. And what does the continuous development means? After passing all those tests, the code is automatically deployed to the next stage. So what is the next stage? So let's say there are different stages has been associated in the real time. First is dev environment, then there is a test environment, then there is a staging environment, then there is a production environment. So what does this representation here means? So if I hope you have using the WhatsApp in your mobile or any sort of Instagram if you want. So there is a one catch you will see in the real time perspective. So there is a feature which is known as add music in the WhatsApp. Some people is able to see those new feature, but some of those are not. So this is because of the prod things. This is known as WhatsApp basically do something that only 100 million, or you can say 1 million users is able to access the new feature. Once those 1 million users doesn't face any issue, then it will live to the more users, then it will increase by the users. So this step has been involved by the company organization. In Microsoft, people used to have these kind of a thing. They don't push directly all those codes into the production. They will do the changes gradually. 5% has been pushed, then we will check that those 5% doesn't face any issues, then it increase the count, then it will increase the count. So this is how we use the continuous development. But in small organization, they don't have these kind of a thing. They generally do developer pushes the code to the test environment. So that, let's say developer has pushed the code, that will trigger a automated test. So this is known as continuous integration. So if those tests passes, all has been passed. Let's say there are 60 test cases that has been triggered. All 60 has been passed. That means this test change code, this push will automatically moved to the next environment. Means this push, instead of skipping the test, it will now change to the staging environment. This is known as continuous development. After passing all the test, code is automatically deployed to the next stage, whether it's a staging, whether it's a production. It depends which organization you are using, if which you are working. Some they are using the 100% continuous CI, 100% CICD. Some will be use 50%. 50% means they only use CI, means continuous integration has been chosen. If the test has been passed or not, they are not moving to the next environment. They manually do the CD, means they manually push the code to the next environments after passing all the test. It totally depends on the organization, what commit they have. So, any doubt in this? What does the CI/CD representation means? Let me just clarify more point for more understanding. First is build triggering, where the dev has pushed the code. Then test execution, which was done by automated suite, right? By Jenkins, GitLab. These are the tools that we are used for the CI/CD. Then let's say everything was done, there will be no such bug has been detention, means this has been deployed to the new environment. So this is known as automated suite. So these support can be done in the automation as well, but this cannot be supports done in the manual. So this automation is why we have a more automation coverage in there. So when to automate? So the question arises is why we need an automation, we have now covered. So now when to automate? So there are three things that you should have and understand when to automate. First is repetitive test cases. If you are doing let's say if you are supposed to test instagram.com login functionality, this is the major thing that people used to have in them all the times. So this is the crucial functionality that you should have. You should, after entering the username and valid password, user should able to log in. So these are the repetitive test cases that you should are supposed to have. So instead of doing the manual thing all again and again, we choose automation. Second, higher risk functionality. Higher risk means, let's say amazon.com. Amazon.com have a major functionality which is placing an order. If that functionality broke up, that means nearly on the daily basis, nearly 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs Amazon placed order in India. In worldwide, it's around 1 million. So If the placing order crashes, that means it's a major high functionality risk. So they will choose these automation suite first instead of doing any sort of things. So we can automate those high risk functionality using an automation as well. Third is cross browser and platform testing. Let's say you want to run the suite once time, first week on the Chrome browser, second week on the Safari, third week on the Firefox. This whole things can be done using automation as well. This is known as cross browser. Similarly, cross platform as well. Let's say you want to run on the iOS things. Let's say cross browser platform, you can say iOS and Windows, Android, you can say, that can be also chosen by the automation itself only. If you want to run the APM tools or sort of automation you want. So that we have understand one of the example about the smoke suit example. The smoke suit simply example, I already told you there is 100 test cases, 60 has been automated, 40 has been done. Why we need an automation? Then we have already discussed now. Now this is the test case we have supposed to do. We have executing all those things in a manual way. Correct. Instead of manual, the things was like that. These values, this principal, this rate of interest, this period amount, the drop down value, whether it's years, days, number of values can be chosen from this Excel file. After this Excel file, let's say after this Excel file, it will be fetched from here, and those values will be copied from here from this Excel file and will be pasted here. This step is known as automation. You want to do like this. So regression pack for loan calculator. So this is the loan calculator, or you can say deposit calculator I have chosen. So first we need to read this Excel file, read this line by line. Whatever the value I have chosen here, same value will be replaced, or you can say added in this sheet in this actual execution of the website that it's supposed to do. So this is known as why we need an automation, or automation necessary has been associated with it. So any doubt guys in this, why we need an automation and why we are discussing all those things? So out of 33 participants we have, how many have been working with the manual right now, or wanted to switch to the manual or automation, or non-tech background? Just let me know into the chat section if you want. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting one call. Yeah. So, where was we? Yeah. So the topic for now we have why we have a framework development. So the what does the framework development representation here means? So first question is, what is test automation framework? So test automation framework is a structured way to write and maintain test script efficiently. So what does it means? Let me just open one of the IntelliJ code to show you one of the framework that we have right now. So let's say, and this is the framework we have. In this framework, we have a different let's say test we have. First, for a create API user, in this we are creating a new data using a API. Similarly, let's say there is a login page that's supposed to do. So there is a instagram.com. Inside that instagram.com, once we provide a username, password, then it will log in, and after this login there is a dashboard page has been done. Inside that dashboard page we will checking those logout button has been appearing or not. So these are the different, you can say, test cases. So we have designed a structural way to call all those necessary things. So line by line, everything we are be doing on the perspective only. So let's understand with the one of the example here as well. Let's say we have this page, and these are the different data that we are supposed to enter. So and we have from file where we are storing those data. Let's say this is the Excel file where we are fetching the data from. Once those Excel file we needs to store somewhere. After storing somewhere, we needs to provide how we are dealing those Excel file. So we will be creating some utilities such as opening the website, opening the Excel file, getting the data from the Excel, and getting the data, get cell data, counting the rows inside that part, setting some data if you wants to fill some color itself only, like if test case was failing, that means it will fill with the red color. If it was failing with green, if it is passing, that means we are filling the color with the green. So that are the supposed to do with the systematic way. Similarly, if you wants to open to the Chrome driver, it will open into the Chrome. If I wants to open the execution in the Firefox, it will execute in the Firefox. Similarly, if I wants to uh, read the data from this configuration file where we are storing all the base URLs, the supposed to URLs, the username, password, the practice URLs, everything was been stored inside that part. Similarly, we have a base class. So these are the systematic way that we are arranging everything so we can reuse our code whenever we want to do. And since there is a structuring has been occurred, that means we already know where we are supposed to update. So this is how why we need an automation framework for a structural to write and maintain test scripts efficiently. So this is why we have switched to the test automation framework development. So why we build from the scratch? Being an if you want to learn something from manual to automation, always build from scratch only. Then you will understand some few points. What are those points? First, you have the adaptability to business changes. Let's say there are some changes has been recommended to the some users. What you're supposed to do? Then you have build anything from scratch. That means you have already have an idea how where the things it will fetching, where I wants to make a changes. So adaptability will get involved. Controlling over any some datas, whether this Excel file where we are reading the data, these Excel file we already have control where what is supposed to be changed. Similarly, if you have customization, some changes you required onto that part, that can also be done from the framework itself only. Better debugging, better logging, everything was done by the why we build from a scratch. If you understand from scratch itself only, if someone asks you anything during an interview, then you are supposed to tell any sort of question or any sort of challenges that you have faced. If you have built a framework from scratch, we are going to understand from TestNG, we are going to understand for the Cucumber. So these are the two different framework I have been chosen here. First is this Cucumber one, where we have English language formats. You can see these are the English things, where user launches the Chrome browser, user open this URL, user enter username, and this is a password. User click on the submit button. So these are the English language. You will convert those English language to test cases. So these are the things that you should have an idea. So after this, this is known as Cucumber. Similarly, there is one more which is known as TestNG. In this TestNG, there is an XML file that we have maintained. Inside that XML file, we are mm, providing all the necessary detail that it's supposed to be executed. So everything must be associated with here itself only. So, what are the real-time benefits? Custom reporting. If you want any some changes in the test data, that can also be done in the uh, if you understand why we develop from a scratch. So, any sort of doubt, guys? Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is basically commonly used framework if you are moving to the Excel file, or you can say if you're moving from manual to automation. So what are those framework that you should have an idea before moving on to the things? So the framework that you should have an idea or during a learning is unit first is BDD framework, hybrid framework, key driven framework, data driven framework. So these are the different framework that you're supposed to know about it. But majorly, we will covering the BDD framework. We are covering the hybrid framework. We are covering the data driven framework. Unit testing framework generally done by the developers, so we do not majorly focused on those. Being an automation tester, you should have an idea about the BDD framework, hybrid, data driven, and key driven as well. So these are the framework that you should have an idea about it. So we will be not deeping dying all those different framework. I'm just giving you a basic introduction, or you can say basic idea what these supposed to have, or what sort of knowledge that you should have an idea in those sort of things. So the topic first is the TestNG framework. So the TestNG framework are those framework if you have worked with any sort of Java knowledge, then you should have an idea that without any main method, you are not supposed to execute all those things, right? So, but in the real time, there are a lot of things that you cannot add in the main methods. So to skip those main method things, we have a TestNG. So that TestNG have some annotations. Using those annotations, we can trigger the builds, or we can trigger the runs. We can trigger the test cases. So what are those annotations? So that annotation is known as at the rate test. Wherever the at the rate test was done, you have added. So that will be treated as a test case. So that means if you want to run any login functionality, you will add a login you will create a function, that function, and provide a test annotation which is at the rate test, like did hit here. Let's say this is the money test. In this, what we are doing, we are covering later on. You can see I have created one function. That function will have one annotation which is known as at the rate test. So this function doesn't require any main method, or without any main method, it auto gets triggered using a test annotation provided by the TestNG. So this is how it's supposed to be known about it. So we have a XML file through which we are generally run the test suits. Means the test cases has been run against all those things. So what are those XML file? I'm just showing you one of the basic example. You can see this is the example where we have. So money test is this class. We provide the class name. This is the class name. Inside the class name, there are some things that we have provided. If we are covering later on, when we understanding test engine from scratch, then we will cover this XML file structure, how will be creating, how will be each every steps that you should have an idea. Before that, I'm just showing you this is the one of the test. In the money test, if any test is present, those tests will executed because I have triggered this XML file. So this is how the TestNG framework structures will be look like. In the TestNG, there are some things that features that you are supposed to have an idea why we have chosen a TestNG, because every things will come because there is some challenges has been faced in the real time market. Zomato came because the people used to have delivery sort of things. The food uh, from one place to another place has been causing an issue to place, or sometimes sometimes the number of the you can say the restaurant is not working. So to reduce all those things, Zomato came up, which provide a solution. Similarly, TestNG provide some of the solutions. What is this first solution is main reduction of the main method. Second, feature that is provided by the TestNG is parallel execution. I wanted to run our different tests if both are not interdependent. First test, let's say, first test is this. I will be verifying this Excel file. Second test, let's say, this is the Instagram.com. Instagram username, password, login button has been clicked, and users should able to log in. So this is the second test case. Let's say this is the third test case where we have writing some diagram. So these three different test cases doesn't have any dependencies on those. So those different threads will be created. Three different threads will perform three different actions on a parallel basis. So lesser execution time will be done. So this is the third feature that is provided by the TestNG parallel executions. If you want some data needs to be provided, so data provider also be provided by the TestNG. If you wants to execute as a grouping, let's say there are 100 test cases. Out of 100 test cases, there are 50 test cases as a regression, 10 test cases as a smoke, 20 test cases as a sanity. So these are the, if you want to run only the sanity test cases, then we can provide a group of sanity in the XML file. Those sanity will execute only. Instead of executing 100, it will now execute only 20 because we have provided a group. If I want to execute only regression, so we will provide a group of a regression will execute. So these things can be done or provided by the TestNG itself only. Or prioritization can also be done. First function will be executed first, second will be executed later on. So everything, let's say first test case have login for page, second test case has a desktop page, third test case there will be a reset password page after the login. So these have a dependencies. First login should work, then dashboard should work, then reset password on the dashboard should work. So there is a dependency has been setting up using a TestNG as well. So these are the things that I was supposed to tell you. So let's execute one of the TestNG script itself only. I will be not detailing much about it. I'm just showing you what is happening in this code itself only. So let's say you can see this is the Excel file we have. In this Excel file, these are the data that is present. First is principal 20,000. This is rate of interest. This is period amount, which is 2, which is years, which is frequency as a simple interest, and this is the expected value, right? If we will be fetching the value from this Excel file, then it will open this website. It will enter those values with this Excel file. Once those Excel file has been picked up, it will move to the second value. It will change it again. It will similarly, it will pick this value as a 2, and then it will pick as a period as drop down as years, then frequency as a simple interest, then it will click on calculate. Once it calculate, it will verify this 24,000 which is actual and this expected which is 24,000 is matching or not. If both are matching, then we will be writing here what we'll be writing: expected result and the actual result is matching. That means we will be writing test pass with color coding. What is the color coding? Since the test case has been passed, we will mark it as green color. So let's say this is the color that I want to do. So this is the execution that I want to proceed with now. Okay. So let's do this using an automation code itself only. I will be just executing. I will not be teaching you how this reading file has been done. That has a different, or that has a complete understanding that nearly take 2.5 hours to understand how we are reading the file from Excel file. One of the things known as Apache POI. Using that, we will be creating some libraries like I have been created. So I will be creating have one utility class. Inside that utility class, there is a these are the classes that has been provided by the Apache POI. I have created different functions. First is opening workbook, saving, closing, counting, get data, get cell data, set cell data, filling with the green color, filling with the red color that it's supposed to be done here. So I hope you are able to understand what sort of things that we are trying to do. Any doubt, guys, before executing this automated suit? Try to be vocal, guys, with its Aaron, Aarti, Anshu, Bachu, Ravi, Kashifa, Kista, anyone. Okay, so let's try to execute this now. You can see there is a XML file in the TestNG that in this XML file that we are going to execute. So I will be running that Excel file. So what it's supposed to be doing now, it will opening the Chrome browser first. After opening those Chrome browser, it will navigate to the URL and it will fetch the data from the Excel file, and it will provide those data to the UI itself only onto the Chrome browser. That it this is how the execution will be look like. You can see the website gets opened, the pop-up has been appeared. You can see it will fetching the data from the Excel file. We are not doing anything from my own. You can see it will now clear out and then second row will change. Now and third row will be changed. You can see everything was done automatically. There is no such manual execution, and you can see the result. Now I have intentionally removed at the end. You can see after execution, I have opened this. The script has returned the execution order. These test has been means this expected result and the actual result on the UI is matching. Got it? Then in this is not this is expected result I have chosen. Intentionally I have added a incorrect data to show you that it gets failed as a test. Any doubts or any sort of doubt, guys, so far? Okay, so let's move on to the next point. So the next point is the Cucumber framework. So the Cucumber framework is kind of a new one more layer that we are supposed to edit here. In the TestNG, there is no such English language. Only the coding was done. Only the Java being associated with the test. So this test has been associated with the Java. There is no such English layer. So that means for higher management people, because that's manager, as everyone is not technical, right? There are some peoples who done the operations thing. There are some peoples who are only managing things, such as like senior manager. They don't supposed to have knowledge about the executions. You can say doesn't have about bother much about the code part. They only bother about the reports, right? If those reports is working fine or not. So those things for English learning, for everyone able to learn a English language. So there is one more layer that can everything was doing in Java, but is my screen visible to you? Okay. So where we have we have supposed to understanding about it. So there is a English language has been added. So those English language will be transferred to any user who doesn't have any sort of knowledge about it. So I'm just sharing this English language to anyone. Let's say there are some peoples in this participant. Let's say Anshu. Anshu doesn't know any Java language. So by by only reading this file, he will able to understand that what it's supposed to be doing. First is first time. After this, this is the incorrect username. So it will trigger your error, which is this. User click on the submit button, user verify the error message. So what is this error message? This is how it supposed to be seen. So I'm just showing you this demo on the UI itself only. How does it look like? So this is the website we have, right? So this is the username, student 213. This is the password we have chosen. So intentionally, I have added a incorrect username. You can say this username is invalid. This message, this is how we are supposed to verify. Expected result is this. Oh, sorry, this, and actual is on the website that is being thrown to you. Similarly, this is the UI. You can see this is the incorrect password I have chosen. Okay, your password is invalid. This is the actual, this is the expected. So these things that will be executing on the daily basis. So if I execute this scenario only, that means it will open this URL, it will open the Chrome browser. See, the Chrome browser gets opened automatically, and you can see there is one line: Chrome is being controlled by the automated test software. That means it will gets auto triggered. I have chosen two different scenarios as a parallel execution. That's why there will be two different Chrome browser gets opened. One with the username as invalid. Second is a user password is valid. You can see two different browser at the same execution time. So that will reduce the execution time itself only. This is how we are supposed to do every time. So this is all about the cucumber deep understanding. So what does it show you? It will provide some reports as well. So I will just showing you if you generated. Let me open this report. You can see this is how it's supposed to show you that these are the execution we have done on the cucumber reports. So It will provide some Cucumber reports. It will provide some plugins. We can do the Jenkins integration with the TestNG also can be done with the Cucumber itself only. So this is you are supposed to understand before moving to the manual to automation. So we if you are being actively involved in manual to automation testing, then you will be then you will have know these kind of a knowledge. So let me just open you the lecture wise syllabus that you should have gone through. First you should have basic idea about the Java. Then you should have an about the Selenium, how we can understand, how we can locate those web elements. After understanding the page element and locator, then we will understanding the weights itself only. Once you understand the weights, then we will move to the advanced seleniums, whether the curve driver handling, pop-up handling, common web driver test failures, everything was handling, debugging things. Then we will handle some frames, tabs, windows, Maven dependencies, injections. We will understand the Selenium dependencies, page object model pattern. What is the page object model? How we can create a framework from scratch. There is a PPT has been prepared against all every reports has been generated. Then we will understand what sort of reports we can add. There are a lot of reports we can do. We can do Azure reports, we can do extent reports, we can do Cucumber reports. We can have multiple exceptions we will throw in when we understanding the common Selenium knowledge about it. We will do the parallel execution like we seen here. There are two different browser gets opened with a only single test like this. So parallel execution was happening. So the data driven testing where we have understand one of the data from the Excel file, where we have manipulated the Excel file itself only by the code itself only. We didn't do any manual thing. Automatically everything was executed. Then API testing was involved, then Cucumber, and same Cucumber integration with the same steps. Then the continuous integration. After learning all those things, there is one topic which is known as Git. Git is very useful if you are being an automation tester, being a developer, being anything, that you should have an idea how the Git code or the Git knowledge you should have and understanding about it. Then we will move to the APM. So these are the levels of understanding or level of syllabus that you should have an idea before moving on to any sort of things. In if you are wanted to switch to manual and automation, that's the things that you should have an idea. Or let's summarize today's lecture and then we can wrap it up with the questions. I will on board with the questions itself for each of you. Being a summary, so summary is just manual testing is the foundation, but not scalable. Automation increasing speed, confidence, and consistency. So this will reduce. This will increase your budget. It will help you to grow more automation packages. There are a lot of person I have seen nearly roughing around 50 plus LPA, 30 plus LPA, 40 plus LPA sort of things in automation testers. So they will be handling in the nearly 5 years experience. Framework development, you should have an flexibility. What does the framework look like? We have understand one of the test engines, cucumbers. We only executed. We haven't understand how to build those, because those have a lot of things that you should have an understanding. So that's all for today's session that I was supposed to tell you uh, as a orientation session. So let's go with line by line on each one of you to understand about yours uh, perspective and what sort of things that you want. So who wants to go first and just let me tell line by line if you want, or shall I call the names of anyone? Anyone wants to volunteer anything? You just not talking any, why it's there is a lesser sound? Why not anyone is speaking right now? Because topic we already have now over. I just opened the platform for more orientation, for more understanding about your things that you, why you needs to learn about all those things. Hello, anyone there? Anyone speaking? Why this no one is speaking anything? Is there any concern that you have or sort of thing, or you are not able to hear me? What sort of things? So that's all for today, guys. I hope no one is speaking. I don't know why. So let's meet up later on. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.